there's a guy in Sweden who comes from Syria originally, and he asked for permission to hold a demonstration in front of the Israeli embassy and burn a Bible and a Torah. And he got permission, okay? But when he showed up, he took the lighter and threw it on the ground and said that burning holy books is against what the Quran teaches, and I'm not going to do that. And I think it's very important because recently, as you know, there's an Iraqi in Sweden who, he came and burnt a Quran in front of a mosque, the largest mosque in Stockholm. And then a few months ago, someone burned a Quran in front of the Turkish embassy, right, in Sweden. So I really admire this guy because he's showing, instead of resorting to the same behavior, he does the complete opposite. And it's like killing someone with kindness. We have this phrase in English, killing someone with kindness. That's really what it is, and just embarrassing them, plain embarrassing them. So really respect to this guy. Very admirable. I there's nothing else to say, really. There's nothing else to say. Just props to him. Really well done. This is what the Quran teaches, and the Islam as a religion builds on, of course, and takes from Judaism and Christianity and the same values, right? And remember, these religions come from the same place, right? They come from the Middle East. They are grounded and rooted in this area. So they have a lot in common. So I know in the West, their idea in Sweden is to go and burn a Quran, and they call that freedom of expression. I think it's vile. Even in Western countries, you have limits. You have freedom of speech, and then you have hate crimes, or race crimes. Even in America and even in Europe. So these are their own laws in Sweden, saying that you can't do this. You can't go in front of the largest mosque and burn something. And now a case has been opened because of this guy who burned a Quran in front of the mosque a few weeks ago, right? So even by their own law in Sweden, you can't really do these things. But put the law aside for a second. I'm talking more about the mentality, the cultural aspect of this. I just don't see the value in this. It's just meant to make people angry, and it's a desperate attempt to get attention by provocateurs. I mean, it's just pathetic. Like I don't, I'm not even Muslim, and I find it despicable. I find it repulsive. And it says so much that this guy here, who is Muslim, he refuses to behave like that, even though he was given permission by the police to burn a Bible and burn a Torah. He's given permission. He didn't do it. He throws the lighter on the floor. Like that says a lot. That says a lot. So, I know the other guy who burned the Quran a few weeks ago is Iraqi. So he normally should have, better values. He should be more aware, because Iraq does have Christians and Sunni and Shia. It's just like Syria. You have all these minorities and different ethnic groups and religious groups. So he should be, mature enough to know better. But, I guess there's always an exception to that confirms the rule. You're always going to find crazy people wherever you go. He's one of them. But this guy here, who refused to burn the Bible, this guy's really represents and is emblematic of the cultural mentality that you have surrounding religion in the Middle East. Because, like I said, all these religions, they come from this area. They originated and were founded and built in this area, in the Middle East, in the Levant. So it is normal that your neighbor is, maybe Muslim or Jewish or Bedouin or Palestinian or Armenian or whatever. It's normal. That's what we're used to. So, you don't go around burning someone's religious book just to make them angry. It's rude to even ask someone their religion. You don't do that. It's rude. It's considered rude, right? Because you don't need to know. I mean, especially in Syria, Syria's secular, right? Officially, not just. I mean, it's officially a secular country. There's separation of church and mosque or separation of state and mosque or state and church. So, but Iraq is the same, right? Iraq, it's also diverse. That's what I'm saying. So that other guy should have known better. But this one here, who refused to burn the Bible, he's Syrian, right? Syrian Muslim. I'm Syrian Christian, from my mother's side. So I'm used to respecting other people's religions. I don't see the value or this is not freedom of speech burning, a Bible or a Quran. Freedom of speech, and for me, this is, especially as a journalist, I cherish this, and I need this to perform my duties and my job more than anyone. Freedom of speech is not having television stations banned, like banning RT and banning Press TV. That's really an affront on freedom of speech. You want freedom of speech in Europe, then you allow freedom of speech. You allow people to actually talk politics without banning them, and destroying their livelihoods and shutting them down. That's really an attack on freedom of speech. What the hell is burning a Quran got to do with anything? It's just provocation. It's just trying to piss people off. That's what it is. It's ignorance, complete ignorance. So anyway, I thought I'd tell you about this because it's good news, nice news for once. That what he did here, very very respectful and common sense. He's got common sense and decency.